Hello beautiful souls, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well and I'm happy that you're here. So this week the question is, are you being rejected or just redirected out of the wrong role? So one to sit with, and to do that we have the green angel coming in, the color mirror spritzer, green angel. And this color mirror spritzer, as you can see, look at the color, love it. It's about trust and healing, creating harmony within yourself and your life. And it's like the energy of the hawk, you know, or the eagle's perspective. You can see from above and then connect to everything, including nature and the plant kingdom. It's really good for clearing spaces and helps you disconnect from other people's drama. So the idea is that this spritzer will bring a fresh, clear energy to any space or any situation. So, as usual, rubbing my hands, taking in a deep breath, fluffing my aura. Okay, and now we're ready. We are ready. Okay, as I said, the question is, are you being rejected or are you just being moved out or redirected out of the wrong role? Are you being rejected or redirected? Okay, Spirit, Creatrix, Creator, are we being rejected or are we being redirected? We have the card of life-changing. So I would say that you're all being redirected. That's an easy one to answer, isn't it? aAwaAh si ku shikayata tako ai si aute. Kaya saka ia seke uate kushiti nakutaka ushiti ayatakashi hayati ayati. I think one of the core themes here is that your soul is ready for an upgrade. And for the upgrade that is requires you to step out of all the roles that have either kept you victim. Yeah, I think that would be it. That the roles that keep you victim. So when you approach this question like, am I being rejected? The rejection points to victimhood. And that's where you lose your power. As soon as you enter, and this correlates very, very strongly with my accountability card, which is all about power. When you step into accountability, you have suddenly access to all your power, whereas victim keeps you in this powerless situation. Rejection points to it's very inner child stuff. It's very child stuff, like early on childhood, but victimhood. And that's not very empowering. And so the perspective that they want to offer is that, what if it's not a redirection? I always call rejection, it's a divine redirection and protection. You're being protected from something that's not necessary, that you don't need to bring into your life. Even if it's disappointing, even if it hurts you, even though, you have all these stories around being rejected, it's actually a divine protection and redirection. So if you take that perspective into account, what does that change? Definitely changes your life. It definitely also changes who you pull into your life. If you see rejection as a trampoline to something better, it's like the universe is clearly sending you the message that this is no longer aligned with who you are and who you're becoming, this person, this situation, this. So instead of going into the victimhood, this is about claiming your power. Oh, wow, I am protected. I am loved and I'm protected. And I'm being shown that this is no longer available to me. And this is why we have the life-changing card, because the life-changing card talks about the things, the changes that can come into your life. So a marriage, a child, a move, a new job, those types of changes. And so when you stop thinking of rejection as a deep dive into victimhood, and you see it as a like that you're being protected and looked after, you know, how is that going to change your life? Something to think about. You know, I always say life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. So how is this rejection happening for you, in your favor, for your highest good? How is the world orchestrating around you so that you can pull in people who actually see who you are, value what you give, and what you bring to the table? You know, rejection in that sense, I keep thinking about when you lose a job, or even when a relationship ends, or when you lose a friendship. It's like these people, even though it hurts you, and I'm not dismissing the hurt at all, and I think there's always work to do around the grief, you know, and to move through the grief and accompany it, but actually realizing that that person is not good enough for you, I think is really, really important. So let's see, what other information can we get about, are you being rejected or redirected? What do the cards want to share? The loyalty. So the loyalty card is absolutely, starts with loyalty to yourself. So one of the things I would point at here is the rejection is actually pushing you back towards your own loyalty to yourself, to your own self-esteem. I feel loyalty has a lot to do with self-esteem too. So rejection, you know, taps into self-esteem at such a big level. And I want to transmute the whole discussion around rejection. What if rejection is actually just another amazing soul tool that does two things? It shows you where you're no longer aligned, and it shows you that there are benevolent forces around you who are really looking out for you. I mean, and that they're pointing you back to this deep relationship with your soul and your truth and your power, and how important that is in the scheme of things. So loyalty, big one. Loyalty to yourself. There's something in my oracle deck that I talk about, which I call loyalty bonds. And you develop loyalty bonds with other people. And not everybody deserves a loyalty bond, by the way. So it's something very specific, but loyalty at the deepest, hardest core of its truth is about impeccability with yourself, integrity with yourself, and putting your soul first. What is it, you know, what's aligned? What's the truth of my soul? And can people in my life hold that truth and that frequency? You know, we are constantly asked to grow and expand, and it's kind of normal that people move in and out of our life. The opposite would be untrue. And one of the biggest challenges in any form of relationship, whether it's friendship, love, family, even work, is can you continue growing together? And if you can't, then it just means that the person and you have completed whatever time you were supposed to do together. Sometimes it's, you know, sometimes people need to separate and come back together, and grow on their own terms and then reconnect. That's also possible. But if you're getting a rejection, what I'm going to say to you is move through the grief, but then come back to being loyal to your path, to your soul, to your life purpose, to what's important for you. And the right people will align, you know. It is bringing in life changes when you do that. Okay, so let's get a third card. Are you being rejected or redirected? Are you being rejected or redirected? We get the card of vortex. So the vortex points to places, sacred places on Earth, where you can connect to star family, you can recharge yourself, you can get downloads, you can be upgraded, you can be... so they're kind of places of power that have a real impact on upgrading who you are. I'm going to call them upgrade places, right? You can use this symbol to create one in your house, in where you live, a place where you can recharge and with intention decide what you need. And I feel like you're being called to do that for most part of you. The other people, you could go to places that are are places of power. It's like a form of pilgrimage, and you can do that anywhere. Churches usually are built on places of power. Any religious house, I'm sure, like mosques and temples and stuff, they're all built on places of power, ley lines, that kind of place. Nature, certain places in nature are super charging and upgrading. So this is something that you're being asked to go somewhere sacred with the intention of upgrading your template around rejection and allowing yourself to step into maybe this new energy that you're not quite familiar with, or this new frequency that you're asking to hold, that is pushing away these old vibrational relationships that you have, and and allow it to anchor. Remember, everything works on intention, otherwise the energy just does its own thing. So if this is something you're really fed up with, if you're done with the rejection piece and calling in people who reject you, they're just showing you that you're no longer aligned with that realm of possibility and to level up. So this is a call for leveling up, and places can do that for you. Places, and I'll talk about it at the end, but my course is definitely one of those places that function like a vortex. Ku as uasana ushe siki ata ushushu etina uata shakara ueshi takayata kashi asana kashi. The really important piece with this card is don't forget to intend. I'm going to say the embodiment of the frequency that's becoming available to you. What I'm sensing about this is that rejection is showing you you're no longer aligned with who you were, and probably some of you are really struggling to step into this next piece, and so the vortex can really help you with that. Use the card, use the symbols. I always say use the symbols to help you integrate who you are asked to become. And it's like there's a distance between the energy you're holding and your mental awareness of who you have become, and the vortex and the life-changing, all these symbols can kind of shorten that distance and embody that understanding. And so, if you're called to, if you can travel, go to a place like a Sedona, or even waterfalls or sacred forests. There are all these sacred places that have been tended to by people for eons, and they hold a lot of energy, potential energy. I'm also going to say you could travel to like chakras of the earth places, and let the grids update you and upgrade you, up level you. But you can also do it at home using the symbol. Remember, intention, intention, intention. Okay, let's see if we have anything else to add. I'm just going to get a few tea leaves. I have two fallen out already. So we have the scales. Keep your life in balance. So this for me points directly to this. The rejection shows you where you're out of balance and out of alignment. So this is a call back to alignment and balance through your connection to your soul, to the loyalty to your path. Be loyal to your path above anything else. Meditate, spend time understanding what that is, and also be shown your next step, which is, for a lot of you, this vortex piece. But if you keep your life in balance, look, we have this card, good fortune. So the redirection is actually about bringing more balance. You're out of balance because you're part of you. So I've got two more that come out. Part of you are still energetically, I'm going to say even differently. Part of you are mentally still grasping at an energy that you no longer embody. And so your mental needs to catch up with this new frequency that you're embodying. I think the bridge needs to happen, and it hasn't happened, and it needs to happen through vortex. So we have these two that came out. I didn't ask for them, but they did. So we have February. So once again, February babies, or something that you started this February, or something that you will harvest next February. So good stuff. And then for some of you, sorrow over a loss. So maybe it's like, make sure that you do grieve, make sure that you take the time to look at what it is, but know that you're being prepared. Look, you have the life-changing car. You're being prepared for something so much bigger, and you're going to look back in a year's time and go, oh, what a waste of time that was. Why did I cry over something so pointless? But it was with hindsight. So if you're still grieving, if you're still sad, if you're bitter, just know that you're being redirected, right? This is a redirection that's a protection, and that your spirit guides and helpers and spiritual allies are all like, they're shown to me as like, yay. This is what literally the image that I'm shown. I'm shown on one side the rejection, and then they're like pulling their hair out going, no, 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 this is no. And then the redirection, it's like, yes, yes, yes. And there's like party, glitter, it's like the piñatas. You're being redirected. Please be open to the redirection. Whatever has brought you sorrow, whatever rejection you're experiencing, it's just you're no longer aligned energetically with it. Let it go. Oh my gosh. And one thing you can do is you could do a letting go ritual. And you can do that at any vortex. I think that would be good. You could write a letter and then burn it. You could create some kind of representation of the loss, of the rejection, and either burn it or bury it. And don't forget the gratitude piece, right? You're being protected, but also this is who you were, and you're being asked to step into another bigger version than you. So it's like a win-win. It can only be a lose-lose if you take rejection for what it is, or what you think it is, which is that you're unlovable and you're not wanted, and you fall into that victim story. Move away from the victim story. This is a story of empowerment, expansion, and growth. Stepping into it, head high, pert titties, I shouldn't say that, but I am saying it, and pert body parts, proud. The universe is stepping in and up-leveling you. aAwaAah. So if you want help with this up-leveling, as I mentioned before, I have a course. I've put the link in the TaA GeE aAwaAh, in the description below. It is called the TaA GeE aAwaAh Bond course, and it's to help you shift when you're ready to stop being in roles that drain you, and to step it. It's a structure. It's really structured so that you're met and supported, and you move through an upgrade without it being messy. It's like a really supportive soul template that's very structured. So the link is in the description below. Sending you big blessings for this week, and celebrating your redirection and your growth and your expansion. Namaste.